This is our 300 horsepower 6-wheel drive mini Jeep, but right now it's a 0 horsepower mini Jeep because our engine has some internal damage. So in this video, we ordered all of these parts. We're gonna rebuild the engine, install all of the wiring, and hopefully hear this thing start up for the very first time. The first thing that we gotta do is remove this body, our seat, and all of the custom steering we built in the last episode to get to our engine. I don't even know if our engine can come out of this thing because we built the frame around it, so let's get to it.
Dude, I swear this thing looks like 2 times bigger with the body on it.
It's so small, there's not a lot going on.
No.
What's it look like with a rider on it, no body? It's kind of cool looking.
Super Mad Max now. It's nice not having the body on it.
Gives you a little more room.
Does it look scarier or less scary with the body on? I can't even tell. It's like...
It kind of looks like a tractor. Does it look like we're gonna be able to get this engine out?
I don't know.
This comes off,
Ah.
and then this pulls out. And there's our steering. All right, the engine's out, it's on the table, and the last time we took this thing apart, we found some serious damage to our cylinder walls, which means we're gonna have to split the case. And I've never done this before, Taylor's never done this before, so it's gonna be a very interesting, super difficult process that we're gonna just have to learn about. So we're all gonna be learning about this engine together. And hopefully we don't mess anything up, and hopefully we have all the right parts to fix it and get it started. Hopefully these head bolts are reusable. I didn't even think about that, but that could be something we've overlooked. I don't know. It's been a couple of months since we've looked at this engine, so there might be some things we're forgetting, but hopefully we just have everything in those boxes over there, and we can reassemble this and make 300 horsepower. Ah, there's the glorious damage. These 2 cylinders.
Look at the hole.
Hole right there, hole right there, hole in our cylinder wall, scoring. So we bought the whole top of the engine, which means we have to unbolt pretty much everything on this and rebuild it from almost scratch. It's a little intimidating, but I think if we work slow and we just take pictures of everything, we should be good.
Looks like we've acquired some junk in the head.
Yeah, that's gonna need a nice cleaning.
So we got the head off.
That's the first step.
That's what we've done already.
Now I think we just start removing bolts. All the bolts need to come out. Every single one. I think any one that we see, we just remove, and we make sure we don't lose them. And then we'll be good. Whew. Oh my gosh. There's little pieces everywhere.
We've barely dipped our toe in.
We're going into the unknown. It really seems pretty clean in here. I think we're gonna take the oil pan off too, just to make sure, because we've got damage up here and we don't know where the metal is. There is a little bit of metal at the top. I don't see any metal in the gearbox, so it might be in the oil pan, but we gotta find it and we gotta clean this thing out. It's kind of nerve-wracking. There's so many little parts on this engine, and we're notoriously bad at keeping track of things.
Oil spilling out of all the seams is a good.
That's a good sign. It means it's starting to come apart, I think. Anything can be taken apart if you take enough bolts out. There's a ton of oil in there. How much more oil do you think is gonna come out?
I don't know. We drained this yesterday. I mean,
All right, so there's one more bolt, and I don't understand how you get it off. You can't fit a wrench in there, nothing. So, I think Suzuki just made a mistake, and I'm gonna change it. We're gonna just make this a little different with the grinder, and then we'll be able to get the bolt out. See, Suzuki, that's what you should have done from the beginning. Just make it a teeny tiny bit better, and then we could have gotten the bolt out. There's so many things in here.
what? Is there anything in the bottom of that oil pan?
I don't know. I'm trying to find. We're having a hard time taking this case off.
Yeah, the case will not budge.
Yep.
Really?
We have to flip this whole thing upside down and take all of this off. Gearbox out. All the bolts off the bottom to get that off. We will see if this all goes back together properly. I'm starting to have some doubts. Oh!
Oh.
Oh no! There's so many parts. And we still have not found that broken piece. Where is it?
It's gotta be somewhere.
I can't believe we're going this deep into the engine. I can't believe it. I can't believe my eyes. I don't think we have to touch this. I think after this, we're good. We just get these bolts and this piece will come off. All right, are we ready to see some magic?
Take that puppy off.
Nice.
Nice. We're making headway, dude. Certainly. I don't know if someone welded on this or if our parts are just like insanely hot. That looks wrong.
Yeah, that looks wrong. This one looks fine. Well, does it? Yeah.
Well, let's pull this out. We've got another crank half we bought on the internet, so it's here. We're gonna take this assembly out, replace all of the things we need to replace, and then we can reinstall everything on the engine and hopefully do it right, and then we'll be good. That looks even worse out of the engine.
It melted a hole straight through it.
That's diabolical.
And what? These are four? Like, they're nicer pistons, right? Are
Yes, I don't know. All right, that was a lot of work, but we've got our damaged top end of the engine out and gone. So I'll just put this over here. Maybe we'll blend it up for you guys. And when we release our new merch, give you some parts of the Jigsaw along with your order.
Cool.
That would be pretty cool. But now, we have a new to us top end of a K5 Jigsaw 1000. It looks a lot cleaner. It looks a lot healthier. Still has the cross hatching in there. So now we can start reassembling our engine.
I have a feeling that might be the harder part.
Same. I also have a feeling that we don't know what we're doing and this might get a little harder, but I think with enough time, and enough research, we can put this back together and make it run. All right, we got our new pistons, rings, and rods ready to go. The last thing we gotta do is install our rings on this piston, and then we have to hone out our cylinders, and then we can start putting everything back together. This is such an abrasive tool. It has like rocks on the end of it.
I know.
And it looks like it's like a Megatron or something. Pistons are going in. We're just gonna oil them with some gear oil. I don't know if that's what you do, but I think it makes sense. And then we're gonna use our ancient piston ring tool. This is a pretty cool design. It's just like a ratchet strap on a Pepsi bottle, essentially.
You could make a homemade one.
Certainly.
With those parts, guaranteed.
I've seen Ethan from Grindhard put these in with his bare hands.
That's impressive.
That's impressive. But we're not at that level yet, so we'll use the easy way. That was way easier than I was expecting.
Whoa.
Is it actually in? Does it
so.
move? Yeah. All right. First piston's in. Now we're just gonna do that 3 more times. I don't know where the oil needs to go, so the oil is going everywhere.
Hey, oil is oil.
Oil's oil.
You have a glove on this hand, and you spread with that.
Taylor,
Explain that to me.
it's all about the feel, man.
These are pretty thin gloves. I feel like...
No, you have to feel. You have to feel what's going on, or you're just not gonna know.
Well, you are spreading it nicely, so maybe maybe you're onto something.
This is the way it goes?
I believe so.
Whoa. Ho! That's sick. We got this thing all apart, put every component mostly probably back, and it's going back together. I can't believe it. It's time to put this last piece on. This is the last piece before the oil pan. So that's gonna mean that we've almost got everything put back together on the engine, which means we're one step closer to hearing this thing roar to life. Shoo! It's on. Hopefully it shifts. I
I-
hope we did that right.
I think we did.
I think we did. That seemed proper. Before we go bolting the oil pan on and securing all of our bolts on the outside of the engine, I'm just gonna check that this shifts through all the gears. So we got this thing on the shifter right now. We're in neutral. Should go into one, or should go into one. Okay. And then neutral. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Man, I can't believe we made it this far. I know I keep saying that, but it just seemed like the most impossible task before we started.
Yeah, we went into this pretty nervous.
And it's taken a day and a half, and we're already back to almost where we were. Okay. It is time to install our head and head gasket, which is one of the last steps. So I cleaned this mating surface right here, checked that it was flat because we did have some damage in the engine, so you never know. It might have gotten warped, but our head is savable, it's flat. There was some chunks of aluminum, and now we just have to clean it because when we were building the mini Jeep, we got a little careless, we got a little reckless. We didn't put the valve cover back on all the way. And if you can see, there is a whole bunch of plastic and metal junk in there. So before we put everything that needs to go into the head onto the head, we're gonna clean this thing up. We've got 4 cans of brake clean. I think that should get the job done. We've also got this electronic air duster. So we're gonna go through, blow it all out, spray it all out, clean it all up, and then install it. Got a crispy, brand new Suzuki head gasket for this thing. That looks a lot better than the one that came out of that. Whew. It looks like a full-blown motor again.
It almost is.
I'm not gonna say that it's going to run, but we're about to find out. Finally have everything put together on this engine. The valve clearances were by far the hardest thing we had to do because we mixed them up and it just was a mess. But we got it all figured out. Everything's to spec as the manual says it should be. So if this thing doesn't fire up now, I'm gonna be a little bit disappointed. The last thing we gotta put on is this valve cover. Oh. I cannot believe we just put this engine back together. It's better than ever. Now we just have to do the wiring and we can see if this thing starts.
It's 10 o'clock at night and this engine rebuild took way longer than expected. It's time to get it back in the mini Jeep and start on some wiring.
It is finally time to start doing some wiring. And as you can see by these diagrams, there is multiple miles of wiring, but thankfully, when we were taking this off the original bike, we did label some of the wiring. So it should give us a pretty good idea of where to start. We also have things to think about like methanol injection, a secondary fuel pump, and a couple of other things that aren't stock on a normal Gixxer 1000. But there is everything we need to make this bike run in this box, so let's take it out and just start plugging things in. Oh my gosh. I forgot how complicated this is. Hopefully we can get it back to normal, because right now it looks like a rat's nest. And like I said, there is a lot more going on in this wiring harness than just the normal Gixxer 1000 wiring, so we can't even relate to like a manual. It's going to probably take a very long time, but I think we can get it done. I said that pretty confidently, right?
Yeah, that was really, really confident.
Most of our wiring is connected. Now we need to see if this thing is going to prime its fuel pump and if we can get it to crank. So this is the first time we're gonna see if any of the things we did actually worked. Let's see. Ah, the gauge turned on. That's a good sign. Oh. Shoo! So we do have a check engine light, but that's fair. It's all in pieces right now. We know how to arm this thing. Now I'm gonna de-pin this whole switch panel right here and figure out what wire is the wire we need for our start switch, and then we can see if it starts or if it cranks over. And if it cranks over, we can check spark, and if we have spark, it should just start. Before I go finding the wire up there, I'm gonna work backwards and just see if bypassing the relay turns the engine over. And then we'll find the wire that triggers this.
That sounds very interesting.
It does, doesn't it?
Yes. I don't know.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Getting really good at figuring out how to take things off of this thing.
Uh-huh. Okay, now we have to see if it'll spin from this.
Yeah, if it will spin from this, then at least we make it that far. Well, the engine's spinning over now. We didn't change anything. If you know what kind of anomaly that could be, let me know down in the comments, because we have no idea what that was. But we let the engine sit for a little bit, and it seized up, which worries me a little bit. So now we're just cranking it over with a little oil down each one of these. We checked that it's in time. It is in time, so
Everything looks correct.
we gapped all our rings. It's not like the rings are out of gap. But in a second here, we're gonna keep the valve cover off and just see if we can't get the starter to move this engine over. We got our situation all figured out. I think we're gonna test and see if the starter is gonna twist it over now.
It moved.
Did it?
Yeah. That is the starter skipping on.
That is the noise of a starter skipping on something.
It's moving the engine now.
It is,
Uh-huh.
but that's horrible noise.
That starter is skipping.
Yeah, our teeth are gone. We have a couple teeth here and then no teeth right there. So it's just jumping on that. The problem is there is no starter anywhere in this area that we can buy, but we found one on Facebook Marketplace and the guy has agreed to give it to us for free at 11 o'clock at night. So we're gonna go get that at 11, but before that, we're gonna spend some time, hook up all the fuel lines, hook up the turbo, make sure all of our wires are plugged in, get that starter, and see if this thing finally starts.
What do we got going on here?
So basically, usually with this system, you would have it's over there, it's on the table. It's
This
a
thing.
fuel pressure regulator. But with this setup, we've bypassed that because we're gonna be running no boost for the first test start. And we just have a hose going into a gas tank, and it goes down here to the pump and into the fuel rail. We just wanna see if fuel comes out of it, and if it does, we've set this up right. If it doesn't, we have to reverse that situation around. Test one. Yep, we're getting fuel at the fuel rail, so that means everything's in the right orientation. We can go ahead and tighten things up, and then we can install our turbo. Then we can install our new starter motor when we get it, and then we should be good.
Yep.
Yeah! Woohoo!
Thank goodness. Might take a little fiddle.
Yeah, but the turbo's pretty much in. It is very, very late, but we have our new starter. Shout out Anthony. We would not be able to do this without you. Hopefully this fixes our problem. Hopefully the engine turns over, and hopefully it just starts. So let's install this and see what happens.
It's time to see if...
We run into the same problem where it makes that horrible noise and doesn't start.
Yeah, if this is ever gonna run.
We really have been putting in the work, man.
I know.
It'd be so cool if we got like just a little something. Oh! Maybe that's a little too much pressure. Oh! Dude!
It did it!
I don't think I've ever been more happy to hear a noise in my life.
It's pretty slow, but it's just the battery.
It's just a battery at this point, so now we know we just need a charged battery on a running Subaru. This thing will crank over tomorrow. We'll install all of the cases we had to take off today. We'll make sure everything's tight, tidy up our wiring a little bit, install the spark plugs, and I think this thing's gonna just run, dude. We are back today. We've got everything buttoned up. Even if it doesn't look like it, we've still got all our wires everywhere. But this thing should be good to fire it up. We've got it hooked up to the Subaru again, and we're just gonna see if it starts. Oh, it's about to happen!
It's so close.
We're so close. Where is that stinkiness coming from?
It's probably the gear oil burning in the cylinder,
Yeah, probably.
right?
A couple more times. Oh!
Yes!
That's pretty nice. We just gotta get it to run a little bit longer. But that was a start. So we have a huge battery issue right now. I don't know if it comes down to wiring or if it comes down to just the fact that we're running off a completely blown up battery. But every time the fuel pump cycles, it kills basically the power to spark and everything else. So That's why we're using brake clean. We really don't have this engine set up to run for very long at all, so just hearing it turn over and start
all
first
we
thing
need.
is really all we need. Oh! That was pretty good.
That was quite nice.
It sounds really nice. The little tiny amounts of starting that we're getting is really nice. We're gonna try a couple more times to get this thing started on brake clean. Our fuel system is pretty funky and definitely needs attention. I also think our tune is way off, but it's good to know that our engine that we put together in a couple of days with limited tools is spinning and starting in some kind of fashion. So we're getting really close. It definitely is gonna take a lot more work to get this thing driving down the road, but let's hit it with some brake clean, see if we can't get it to roar to life for a little longer than it already has. Okay, so we know this engine runs. Our fuel system isn't really hooked up. We're missing some AN lines. We're missing an oil drain for our turbo. We're missing a lot. But we put this thing back together with random eBay parts. It starts up, it sounds healthy. So in the next episode, this thing will be all put together. It will be able to start. It will be able to drive. It will hopefully be able to stop and shift and have its methanol hooked up. I'm very, very excited. I hope you guys like this video as much as we liked making it. And if you want to, you can subscribe and make sure to have a great day.